Hello, all my foxy little nuggets. Welcome to Foxy Little Nuggets Evening Roundup. Well, it's the sort of political buffet, isn't it? But the food's cold, the gravy's congealed, and someone from the Treasury has run off with all the cutlery. But we've got lots of stories that I want to go through today. First up, Lisa Nandy. Oh, bless her. Labour's little apology monkey, we call her. Well, she's announced she's leaving X. Well, woohoo, they all do that, don't they? And then later on, they come back because there really is nowhere else. And once they go, they realise nobody's listening to a word they say. So back they come. She's taking her department with her. Well done. Because the Secretary of State says the platform that was once designed for free speech and expression now favours abuse and misinformation over meaningful debate. And that is weird. Pardon me, just had some Coke. Not the nasal type. And yes, I know it's Pepsi. Don't care. Anyway, it is a noble sentiment, she says, but slightly odd coming from a government that normally responds to criticism by forming a committee, having a stakeholder roundtable, commissioning a review, and then blaming misinformation anyway. So, who knows? But apparently the department will now be looking for a healthier online forum and environment. Somewhere calm, constructive, and full of meaningful democratic engagement. And you hear that squeaking. My dog is having an epi. Oi! So presumably they won't be on Blue Sky for very long. Why do you start that the moment I do my videos? Get a dog, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Don't look at me like that. God, I'm turning into that. What's her name? Joan Greenwood, is it? Joyce Grenfell. Now, Timmy, don't do that. You know, that's it. Anyway, nothing says grown-up politics, I think, like quite dramatically leaving one website to go and be agreed with on another one by 6 sociology lecturers, 3 podcast producers, and a man whose handle is Abolish Bins Now. Next up, we've got a brilliant and important announcement. Canada, international relations, this one. Canada is joining Eurovision. Woohoo! Yes, Eurovision, the famous European Song Contest, is now going to welcome Canada because apparently geography has finally been defeated by vibes. The Canadians are expected to compete properly in Bulgaria in 2027, with Prime Minister Mark Carney proudly declaring the contest just got a lot tougher. For whom, I might ask. To be fair, Canada does have a fair musical pedigree. Celine Dion, for example. Bryan Adams, of course. Shania Twain, most indubitably. And depending on your tolerance levels, Justin Bieber. God, he'd win it if he went on, wouldn't he? Of course, Celine has already won Eurovision. She did so back in 1988 for Switzerland, which is exactly the sort of fact that makes Eurovision less a contest and more a diplomatic incident with key changes. Still, Canada joining does raise questions. So, for example, if Canada can enter Eurovision, why not New Zealand? Or Japan? Why not the Isle of Wight declaring independence and sending a bloke with a banjo and a foghorn? Can't do any worse, as long as he's got a pair of silver trousers and a weird song with some repeating lyrics. They could do well. And that's nice. Third story up, we're going to talk about the BBC and its journalists who apparently don't know anything at all about Andy Burnham. And they're actually having discussions about how long it would take to interview him so that the people could learn all about him. One conclusion being a very long time indeed, because nobody knows anything about him. I suppose it's reassuring, isn't it? The BBC has only had, 20 years to observe Andy Burnham in the wild, as it were. Labour Minister, Health Minister, Mayor, media regular, professional man of the people in a North Face jacket and a black T-shirt, keeper of whippets, owner of flat caps. And somehow he remains elusive, the Pimpernel of the North. They seek him here, they seek him there. They seek this bastard everywhere. But all he is a mystery wrapped in a soundbite, isn't it? Nobody knows anything about him, apparently, allegedly. Andrew Marr got 17 minutes with him. 17 minutes? That's a lifetime when you're interviewing someone. And they say that's barely enough time for Andy Burnham to explain why everything is Westminster's fault. Never mind unveil a completely new governing policy and explain how taxes are going up, services are cutting, and how he's going to borrow billions more despite hating the bond market. He's Labour but not too Labour. He's left-wing but sensible. Radical but responsible. Northern, but he doesn't mind going to London now and again. Burnham's one of those politicians who sounds completely familiar until you try to remember what he actually believes. And then you think, well, does he believe in anything? Does he believe that he believes in anything? Nobody knows. But there we go. Magnificent. CCHQ, last story here. Well, last of the proper stories. We have an and finally tonight. But CCHQ has reportedly been telling councillors, Tory councillors, for telling them off, basically, because they keep calling for a general election. So on television, shadow ministers are all roaring like lions, let the people decide, call an election, face the country. And then, someone, somewhere, deep in the bowels of CCHQ, there is a weary official quietly ringing councillors saying, for the love of God and all that is holy, don't call for an election. Because there is bravado, but then there is stupidity. There is the thought of asking the electorate to go fetch the shovel and dig the Tory party's final grave. It's too soon. It's too soon after 14 years of Tory failure. People still remember the failures. They not stopping the boats, the flying in 100,000 Afghanis and spending £7 billion doing it, and then having to get a court order to keep the whole bloody thing secret. People are not in a forgiving mood, at least not yet. It's too soon. Also, there's rumours they don't actually have enough money for it, which is also quite reassuring. Sir Edward Lee, chairman of the party, meanwhile, he has been apparently joking that he would defect to reform, only he's too old. And to be honest, that's the sort of honesty that politics needs, isn't it? Not a 10-point plan, not a value statement, just, I consider it betrayal, but frankly, I'm too long in the tooth. My knees have gone. There we go. And finally, I told you there was an and finally. Prince Harry's hacking case is expected to report next week, with the Mail said to be feeling chipper and bullish and optimistic. But if Harry, Elton John and the gang lose, they intend to appeal, so the court case may yet continue, forever it seems. And at this stage, Prince Harry's legal battles have lasted longer than some royal marriages. Several Conservative leaders and most Netflix subscriptions. Every time you think it's over, another filing appears. So that's a court case now, more one of those recurring British institutions, like Wimbledon, potholes and people pretending they understand cricket fielding positions. If they do appeal, we may be looking at years more of this. It sounds like something Dickensian, doesn't it? One of those court cases that go so long until it stops because they actually run out of money. But by the end, Prince George could be on the throne, Elton could be on his 7th farewell tour, and Harry may still be in a courtroom somewhere, explaining that the British press is awful, to a judge who has now heard this more often than the national anthem. And there we are, my dear, dear people. Nandy logs off, Canada glitters up, Burnham remains a mystery. The Tories bravely avoid democracy, and Prince Harry prepares for yet another status update, and maybe another episode of Suits, which is ironic considering his wife used to be in it. Dearie me. Till next time, stay sharp, stay loyal, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and keep well. More stories to come. Thanks a lot. Bye.